unanimous consent, the call to quorum be terminated.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I apologize to the presiding officer and all the staff and senators. We have not been able to reach an agreement yet on how to move forward on this simple bill. Remember, everybody loved the bill, should be able to finish it quickly, but that hasn't worked out that way. But we are close. I hope in the morning we can do this and finish the bill tomorrow afternoon. That would be preferable. So I hope we can do that. Everyone's worked in good faith, and there are a number of amendments there that we'll vote on. And if that's the case, we could finish this tomorrow, hopefully late in the afternoon or early evening. But we're not there yet, but very close. Note the absence of quorum.
Mr. President,
Mr.
President, while the Majority Leader here, I just wanted to thank him for the work that he and his staff have continued to do to enable us to get to a vote on this bill, which most everybody in the Senate supports, to make it clear that members of Congress and our staffs are covered by anti-insider trading laws. Senator Gillibrand, Senator Collins, Senator Brown, we've all been working to bring this to an end and give members on both sides the opportunity to introduce amendments. Senator Reid has been showing great forbearance in not moving to file a cloture petition. And in some sense, this is a test of whether we can all apply to ourselves a rule of reasonableness so that there can be a pretty open amendment process, but that one that does not stop the Senate from getting something accomplished. So I share the leader's optimism. There's only one obstacle now to having an agreement, and hopefully we can begin voting tomorrow afternoon and get it done before we finish. Senator Gillibrand, would you like to add anything?
Mr. President. It's Senator Gillibrand's fault we're in all this trouble.
I would just like
Senator
to,
from New York.
Mr. President,
Senator from New York.
I would like to just commend the leader for his forbearance and patience in this very long and extended process, but we are making great efforts to come together, work in a bipartisan way to accomplish something good for the American people and to begin to restore faith and trust in this institution and in our government. So thank you, Leader. We're so grateful for your patience, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your work in leading this legislation.
Mr. President,
Leader.
When Senator Lieberman and I practiced law, we did a lot more generalized stuff than the distinguished junior senator from New York. She is an absolute expert in this area that we're dealing with, corporate law, all that stuff we did with derivatives and all that. So we're very fortunate that she's here. And I was certainly joking when I said she's the one that caused the trouble. This legislation was her idea. And we appreciate her good work. And, of course, Senator Lieberman and I have been through a few battles together. This is one of the minor skirmishes.
You're right.
I would note the absent quorum.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Akaka.
Mr. President,
Senator from New York.
I ask that the quorum call be initiated.
Without objection.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the Senate proceed to a period of morning business with senators permitted to speak therein for up to 10 minutes each.
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent that the Committee on Environment and Public Works be discharged from further consideration of H.R. 588 and the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration.
Clerk will report.
H.R. 588, an act to redesignate the Noxubee National Wildlife Refuge as the Sam D. Hamilton Noxubee National Wildlife Refuge.
I ask unanimous
Without objection, the committee is discharged and the Senate will proceed to the measure.
I ask unanimous consent that the bill be read a third time and passed, the motion to reconsider be laid upon the table, and any statements relating to the measure appear at the appropriate place in the record as if read.
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent the Senate proceed to the immediate consideration of calendar number 304 S1296.
Clerk will report.
Calendar number 304 S1296, a bill to revise the boundaries of John H. Chapey Coastal Barrier Resources System and so forth.
Without objection, the Senate will proceed to the measure.
I further ask that the bill be read a third time and passed, the motion to reconsider be laid upon the table with no intervening action or debate, and that any statements relating to the measure be printed in the record at the appropriate place as if read.
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent the Senate proceed to the consideration of S-Res 365 submitted earlier today.
Clerk will report.
Senate Resolution 365, honoring the life of Kevin Hagan White, the mayor of Boston, Massachusetts, from 1968 to 1984.
Without objection, the Senate will proceed to the measure.
I ask unanimous consent the resolution be agreed to, the preamble be agreed to, the motion to reconsider be laid upon the table with no intervening action or debate, and any statements relating to the matter be placed in the record as if read.
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent the Senate proceed to the immediate consideration of S-Res 366 submitted earlier today.
The clerk will report.
Senate Resolution 366, honoring the life of dissident and democracy activist Wilman Villar Mendoza, and so forth.
I further ask
Without objection, the Senate will proceed to the measure.
I further ask that the resolution be agreed to, the preamble be agreed to, the motion to reconsider be laid upon the table with no intervening action or debate, and that any statements relating to the measure be printed in the record at the appropriate place.
Without objection.
I ask unanimous consent that the Senate adjourn until 9:30 a.m. on Thursday, February 2nd, 2012, that following the prayer and the pledge, the journal of proceedings be approved to date, the morning hour be deemed expired, and the time for the two leaders be reserved for their use later in the day. That following any leader remarks, the Senate be in a period of morning business until 11 a.m., with senators permitted to speak therein for up to 10 minutes each, with the time equally divided and controlled between the two leaders or their designees, with the majority controlling the first half and the Republicans controlling the final half. And that following morning business, the Senate resume consideration of S-2038, the Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge Stock Act.
Without objection.
Managers of the bill will continue to negotiate an agreement to complete action on the bill tomorrow. Senators will be notified when any agreement is reached. I want to commend both Leader Reid and Chairman Lieberman for their strong work, along with Senator Collins for her work in reaching bipartisan resolutions on this issue. We will continue to work through the night and hoping to reach a resolution early in the day, but I do want to commend both sides of the aisle for working so hard towards an agreement. If there's no further business to come before the Senate, I ask that it adjourn until under the previous order.
Senate will stand adjourned to February 2nd, Thursday, 9:30 a.m.
Today in the Senate, members continued work on the stock bill. The measure would bar members of Congress and their aides